Alright guys, today we're talking Cyberpunk. I know I kind of cheated and did a video when they made their satisfactory tweet about how the game's in a good state now, and kind of did an update review then. But yesterday was officially a year since the game's been out, and so I figured it was about time to go back, give it a try. I'm not going to play through the whole thing again, because I'll do that when they make the next gen version of the game coming at the beginning of next year. But I figured I'd go back, give it a try, see what's new, see what's changed, and see what's still the same. So that's exactly what I did. Alright, so here we are, 1 year and 1 day later, and how has Cyberpunk 2077 changed? So, your probably most prominent question when talking about Cyberpunk is how are the bugs, how does it run, does the game actually work now, 1 year later? And yes and no, right? The game has significantly less crashes, but again, that might be a Series X that I'm playing on now, because I made that change while playing Cyberpunk, like I said in my review. I think I had in the teens to 20s on Xbox One in the crashes, and then switched over to Series X, played the rest of the game, and had very few crashes. So, crash-wise, obviously I didn't replay through the whole game, but I was fine, did not have any crashes. So that's good. But as for the rest of the bugs, visual and mechanical, while there's definitely less of them, they're still there. For example, a big complaint that a lot of people had, people made fun of the game for, was the whole cop simulation star system that they have going on, right? So in something like GTA, when you get stars, or pretty much any game that's come out in the past 10 years, right, when you get the cops on you, they chase you and they follow you around. And that's just not the case here, right? There's a whole wanted system in most games, not here. You do something worthy of getting the cops on you. When the game launched, there was a big thing that the cops kind of just spawn on you and don't chase you, right? That's still the case here, right? If you get the cops on you, and I'll show you, this footage is from literally yesterday. The cops just spawn on you still. They might have pushed them a little bit further down the road, but they still just spawn next to you. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in something like GTA is the easiest example. It definitely happens. But they always show up in a car, and they'll continue to chase you, and you can have pursuits. Again, none of that is here, and that's more of a gameplay mechanic thing that you really can't add unless it's an expansion or DLC, some kind of update like that. It's not so much a bug fix, but we'll get into the bugs that are still broken here. Now, while we have this part of the clip playing, I want to talk about the visuals of this game. I talked about it a lot in my review, go watch that if you haven't, but I'm really excited for the Series X upgrade, because this game needs improvements. For example, the road texture in this game looks absolutely awful. Look how slimy and like nasty it looks, and you can say, oh, it's because it just rained and it's all wet, but this is how it always looks, right? And like the cracks, like that looks good, but even like the sidewalks, and they're more acceptable than the road, but just the game itself doesn't look, people don't look great, the guns look fine. Like, for how much they hyped up how good the game was gonna look, even on next gen, the game is fine. I wouldn't say it looks good, right? And so I'm excited to see how the next gen upgrade will hopefully improve that. Over the last year, it really hasn't changed too much, but like I said in my review, the interiors work really well, and the lighting and all of that stuff. But when you're outside and just in the open world, which is what you're doing 90% of the time you're playing this game, it, in my opinion, doesn't look great. But going back to bugs, there's still problems with things like lighting issues, for example, right? You get in a car, and if you play in first person while driving, it's just overexposed and just blown out. You can't see a thing while you're driving. You have to drive in third person. That's still an issue in the game, right? And I addressed that in my review. It's more prominent in certain vehicles than others. I don't know what the pattern is there, but that's definitely still an issue. The menu system and having to sell stuff and that all being clunky, that's still an issue. It's not as smooth or polished as that could be. So, while I'm sure they fixed a lot of things, I think their primary focus over the past year has gone on making the game actually fucking work, so that, you know, you could play it. So there's that. But, we're at a point where it's been a year. This should have came out with a next-gen upgrade, and we'll talk about this type of stuff when we talk about Halo here in a bit. But there's not really a lot of improvements that I would have liked to seen over a year. Right. So what's next for Cyberpunk? Alright. So like I've been saying this whole video, they have their next-gen upgrade coming out in the beginning of next year, along with, at some point, eventually, who knows when, their DLC story updates. Alright. And so, am I super excited for it? Not really. I'm more just curious what they're going to do with the next-gen update. If they're going to, go all out and fully optimize the game to look absolutely great on console, or if they're just going to upgrade it a bit here and there and call it a day. But this is going to be a short video. I plan on doing this whole thing, doing a side-by-side comparison with like graphics and gameplay and bugs and crashes and all of that stuff. But it was just there was so little progress, or at least so much less than I expected, that I just it's not worth it. Right. So get this out there. It's been a year. I'm also working on my Halo review. I haven't finished that yet, but I'm hoping it'll be done by Wednesday. Alright, so that'll be our Wednesday video. Will be a Halo review, and then we have best and most disappointing games of the year to do. So that's 2 videos right there, and that pretty much puts us at the end of the year. I want to put out a video that I've been working on since January, but I don't know if I'm gonna get to finish that in time, but we'll see. Who knows, maybe that'll be my New Year video. But you guys let me know if you're still playing Cyberpunk, if you went back to it for the 1-year anniversary, how you liked it. If you're just waiting for the next gen upgrade like I am, that's cool too. But I'll see you guys on the next one.